Hey, it's me. It's another What I Do installment for this month. I have had a lot of things happen, mostly positive, and I'm happy to report that I now live and work in the same place, same city. So I got everything settled there, um, and it's going really well. And that's helping me to focus now on the other parts of my life, which are the creative parts and quality of life issues. So there's been a lot of changes in my family I've had to help with, um, and those have been positive, but they haven't been without stress and without some anxiety. But um, but I'm happy to report that I think the tunnel is now behind me, or mostly behind me, and I can start to address things I more feel are more enjoyable pursuits versus the the grind of what was previous. Anyway, what to report on the creative front? Two new videos have been put out. So my uh, grand project for the new album, My Beautiful Little Ugly Thing, has now amassed 10 music videos. I have two more to make. Um, they'll probably be the most uh, challenging ones because I have plans that I would like to implement for those that may involve some visual effects that are going to be a little bit more of a challenge to film in this environment. But I expect that I will overcome them as I've been able to overcome these other challenges for these videos. And most recently was the one for let me see, I've done today and tomorrow, which was a little easier. The video I did for Bomb Cyclone, well, I guess there are actually three I finished. Bomb Cyclone was probably the most visually intense of the videos I've put together thus far. It involves some creating more tornado effects and radar effects, and it took about 3 weeks to finish, which is uh, long for this series. Most of the time, it's a week to 2 weeks. The follow up one took about a week, today and tomorrow, and then the final one I just did was half staff, and that one was interesting because I was very keen on making sure I made my point clear and that I was able to um, make a coherent message from the clips I was assembling. There's only one small bit of me in it at the end, and it's hard for me to see me because I deliberately obscure myself with graphics. Um, but I found some very interesting juxtapositions for this one, and I think it came out really good. There's no punches pulled toward this administration and its cruelty. Um, I think it's important that people see what's going on, and I'm trying my best to make my voice heard as well as be creative. So I'm trying to accomplish two things at the same time, and I think by and large, this album has had multiple videos that address my concerns and my anxieties about the current political climate. So there are also videos that are of a more personal nature, and then some that are just kind of whimsical of a kind. But I I'm real proud of this series. I intend to finish it, and it's been a really difficult thing for me to restrain myself from starting new music. I have plenty of ideas. I have plenty of things saved up, but I've made a conscious effort to withhold myself from jumping into the next record, um, and try to finish this and maybe give myself a little time to reflect on things and try to finish completing some of the tasks that I've had to address in my personal life to help me start the next chapter of work with a fresh mind and maybe a little less clutter in my brain. So I'm hoping that happens, and I want to put a little more thought into my presentation going forward. I'm trying to find ways to make my work more engaging to people, and that's been a challenge that I have not been able to solve. Um, it's not my goal to be famous. It's not my goal to be that popular. It's my goal to create engagement and feedback and build communities within my music. And it's just very difficult to make that happen in this day and age. Um, I just don't know how to crack the code for that. I've tried doing all these different mediums, the music and the videos, content wise, trying to make things uh, that are, I think people might appreciate and might respond to. And I have gotten response, but it doesn't seem to be building the audience I had hoped to build. And I don't know how much of it is me and how much of it is the, the way people are today. I don't know if I'm just bad at marketing. I don't know. I'm working on trying to learn new techniques and new ideas to break through that. And there may not be a solution to that. Um, there's many possible reasons for it, but I don't know how to be anybody but me. Um, and I don't try to take it as a personal rejection of who I am, but I do take it as a indication that people have short attention spans. They have they're very specific in their interests, and if you cannot grab their attention within a certain amount of time, they're just going to move on. And I'm guilty of that too. But how do I slow them down in their thinking enough to think it's worth the time to invest in the content I'm trying to create, which I think has relevance and has um, something to say that affects people on a pretty existential level. And so I'm not sure. I mean, I also think that I do have humor in my music, maybe cryptically, but I do have things that I think kind of undercut the the egotism that some artists have about themselves. I try not to have. I try to be like just a regular person who just happens to be able to make these things and put them out. I don't have any like feelings of, like I said, of seeking fame or seeking the spotlight, but I am feeling like there's certainly enough people in this world that would be interested in the work I'm doing. And and I'm not interested in uh, tricks and tips that are going to just manipulate people into clicking on me. And there's a lot of those videos out there that I've looked at on search engine optimization that I feel are just sleight of hand tricks to trick people into going into your videos. And I don't know, maybe I'm being naive about it, but I feel like, if the work's good, the work will rise above. And that may not be a good a good mindset to have, but it's like that is the way I think most artists that I admire manage to find their audiences are by just being themselves, doing the stuff that they care about, and letting that passion and enthusiasm carry forward into people's responses. And that's a hard organic system to build. And there's a lot of roadblocks because people want to cut corners and they want immediate results, and you can be tricked into paying people to get you clicks, get you audience um, to your site. That there's just a lot of scams out there, and I just don't feel like that's to my benefit. And it's not going to help me um, find the people I really want. I have to figure it out, and perhaps some of that is to actually be out playing music, and I have not. That's something I have to face. That I have to get out. Sometimes it's just going out directly to people and playing. And I have done it, but it's been a while, and there just hasn't been opportunities for that. Maybe now with my new schedule, there might be opportunities that I could perhaps do an open mic or two and start to get some idea of how people respond in the live environment. But, but yeah, I've been giving this a lot of thought. I've been trying to figure out if it's really that important for me to worry about it, or if it's more important for me to just keep going and let the chips fall. Um, so I think I'm just going to be going back and forth about that as long as it takes. Um, and it's also could very well be the fact that I'm 61 years old, and this is not an old person's game, so to speak. But I mean, I don't feel that way myself. I don't think about my age because I don't feel my age. Um, I just I just try to keep my ideas uh, loose and open and willing to see potential in things that may not be my first thought. And I've had good friends who have been instrumental in kind of guiding me in that direction, and I'm very appreciative of that. But I also, I just know the reality of the way people are about pop culture, about the people that are important are the people who are of this generation, so to speak. Um, and the rest of us just need to get in the back of the bus. Uh, I don't see that happening every time. I see there are instances of people who have succeeded in later in their life as in many fields. And so again, it's just like if I spent too much time worrying about that, I would never have done anything because I didn't really start recording music until eh, about 30. I think I wrote my first real songs about 29, and then I recorded some stuff in the 90s, and then I um, took a break because the kids were being raised, and so I kind of took a hiatus until they were of a certain age, and then decided to go back and try doing it digitally in about 2015. And so it's been about 10 years I've been trying to learn how to record, learn how to write songs, learn how to record and mix myself, learn how to like do album covers and videos, and put together a YouTube channel, put together a Bandcamp page. Then now taking it to the next level where I'm starting to post some of my music on the other platforms, on Spotify, on YouTube Music, on Apple Music, to see if I can raise my stature there. And but I said it's just been a gradual um, evolution, and I see progress. I see things that are positive signs of that, but I don't know if there are some more I can do. But I'm going to be spending a lot of my time going forward exploring the things that I could do to make my creative life of the public good, that it's doing something for people and helping this world, um, and not just be for selfish reasons. Um, so that was kind of a rambling, but that's the way this goes. I just tell you stuff. I don't sit here and I don't edit myself because maybe a little, but sometimes there's just a lot of things that come to mind while I'm talking that I think maybe I don't think are that part of my part of my spiel here, but then they end up like becoming front and center. I didn't think I'd be talking that much about my struggles to find not acceptance, but find a way to resonate with peers and others around me. And so, but I'm guess I'm confiding that that's been a struggle for me, trying to decide if it's something that matters or not. But I feel like, when you're an artist, you should have part of the process is putting it out there and getting a response, whether it's good or bad. What do people, how do people respond to what you're doing? That's how people, that's the feedback I look for. And so I think that's the most important part of my process is if I get the feedback that helps me to take things to the next level, then that really is, maybe that's the prize I have my eyes on. So trying to find a way back, a thread back to like wrapping up, because this has been a rather long video, sort of rambling. But I think there are a lot of threads here that needed to be raised. Future plans are to go forward and complete the last two videos for the series. So I'll have basically an audio, an album, and like a short movie, a series, a 12 chapter video series for this album. I thought all these songs were worth doing videos for. And again, I've tried to make each one of them unique and entertaining and have a story to tell. And so I don't know if I'll do that again. Maybe not by myself. I'm glad that I did this, and I think it's been good because it's forced me to stop like my current momentum into record after record, which was incredible, still is, and still will probably continue. But I feel like there needed to be I needed to hit the pause button on new music just for a few months, and then I should be able to attack it with some new ideas. I got a new bass guitar that it's a small bass, but it works wonderfully, and I'm going to look forward to using that. And I I have all my equipment where I need it, and I've got a ton of ideas in my Google Docs. So there's plenty. I mean, there should be no problem churning out a new group of songs. I just want these songs to have something to say, and I want the music to have some way of challenging me to raise my game musically. Um, there are certain things of mine that will not change. I mean, I have a style, and that style is part of who I am. But I'm trying to find ways to open up myself to absorbing new things into it that will work. Um, I've mostly been experimenting with rhythm and groove, with drumming, with drum patterns, with rhythmic patterns, and with bass patterns, because I've just like that's been my focus is to kind of unlock the rigidity of what I had done prior to negative space, where I was attempting to find ways to like loosen up my style and not really succeeding because my drumming wasn't able to get me there. And my ideas for it, it was just taking a lot of effort for me to find ways to create rhythms, not only create them, but record them successfully to use for the songs I was writing. But when I relinquished that control, that's when I was able to put the energy where it probably needed to be put. And so again, it just opened up the floodgates. So anyway, new album will probably get started before the end of the year. 2 videos to be finished, probably will be done before, uh, probably next month or two. I should be done with everything. And then again, I'll probably take a few weeks to just catch up, listen to new music, socialize a little bit, um, enjoy some martinis and cigars with my friend, uh, play some music with him, because that's something that has started to happen again that hadn't happened for a while. Happily, the Faux Fathers, the alternate band that I um, am part of with a friend of mine that I've known for over 30 years, ha- kind of started back up again, and we've been recording new material. And we call it willfully primitive. It's kind of a cross of Americana and punk and folk. It's just sort of a really simple. I guess maybe you could say Violent Femmes would be an example of sort of what we do, but it's definitely more rough hewn on purpose, and the music is a little more whimsical. So I'm really happy that after about 4 years of nothing being done, that we're back at work putting new stuff together. So I may want to invest some time on the Faux Fathers and see if we can put together enough material for our first album, and perhaps even go out and play some gigs. So, but now that I have my work life back on track and I'm actually making money again, which had been the struggle for the last year and a half, that will give me some options for, I mean, just being able to uh, take part in things in life a little bit more and not be so closed off, and feel like I can do anything um, because of financial issues, that I might actually be able to like get out there and see what's out there, and make some new connections. And that's that's something I'm really looking forward to. And just having a healthier, better quality of life. Maybe getting into a gym and doing some Tai Chi. I mean, I just think I need some things to balance out my creative time, because I have put so much of my life and time in the last 2.5 years into working on songs, working on that on videos, and I still want to continue. And I think I can still maintain a pretty strong output, but I do feel like I've neglected parts of my life that are not helping, that would help me to like be better and be more refreshed and more energized into that work. Of course, the political climate has not become that's not going to change right away. But again, if I'm working on things that I think can help push back against this situation, and that's what this last album's attempts were and still are, to not accept that we are going to being controlled by a fascist dictator president, um, or any of his lackeys. It's just going to be a battle. We put ourselves in this situation. We smacked our own heads in the face with a frying pan. Now it's time for us to like, get up off the ground and fight back. And people are fighting back, and that is very encouraging for me, and I want to be part of that. So, so yeah. Um, anyway, I appreciate you guys letting me ramble. I should appreciate anybody who's been watching these and finds something in them. Um, I always like hearing comments if people have good or bad things to say about it. That's not a, that's fine. I'm I want to get exchanges going that are constructive and meaningful. Um, and so that's why I'm trying to do these things, because I want people to see that people are out there that are committed to trying to make their lives better and trying to make the world better. And that sometimes takes sacrificing the, the quick and easy things that you can get out of cutting corners. And I just don't want to be part of that instant gratification crowd and stepping on people to get where I want to go, and changing who I am depending on who I'm talking to. All those things are just, I want to be who I am now in front of you and stay that way, because that's how I've gotten to this point. And I don't want to veer off of that uh, course. So, thanks again. Really, I appreciate everybody's attention. I will see you hopefully in a month with more updates, and take care of yourselves. Don't go crazy, and resist. Bye.